Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The Bhagavatam. Sorry, you got the wrong. So today, very exciting, because today we have Lord Krishna and Balaram. So before we get started, I would like to request all of you to please bless me that I speak properly, because we're going to be discussing the Supreme Lord. Thank you. So just take that aside. एकोनविंशे विंशति मे
एकोनविंशे विंशति मे
वृष्णिषु प्राप्य जन्मनि
वृष्णिषु प्राप्य जन्मनि
रामकृष्णाविति भुवो
रामकृष्णाविति भुवो
भगवान् हरद्भरम्
भगवान्
एकोनविंशे. Remember, we have eka, una, so less than. Vimshe, vimshati, 20. 1 less than 20, so 19. Ekonavimshe, vimshati me. So in the 19th and in the 20th. Vrishnishu, in the Vrishni dynasty. Prapya, having obtained. Janmani, births. Rama, Balarama. Krishnau, Shri Krishna. Iti, thus. Bhuvaha, of the world. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Aharat, removed. Bharam, burden. Bharam, bharam, both mean the same thing, burden. In the 19th and 20th incarnations, the Lord advented himself as Lord Balarama and Lord Krishna in the family of Vrishni, the Yadu dynasty. And by so doing, he removed the burden of the world. So we'll read the purport here. It's a very short purport. And in fact, none of the acharyas elaborate on this verse at all, because they're all holding themselves back for verse 28, Ete Chamsa Kalapumsa. Okay. So that's when they bring out all the big guns. So here in the purport, Prabhupada says, the specific mention of the word Bhagavan in this text indicates that Balarama and Krishna are original forms of the Lord. This will be further explained later. Lord Krishna is not an incarnation of the Purusha, as we learned from the beginning of this chapter. He is directly the original personality of Godhead, and Balarama is the first plenary manifestation of the Lord. From Baladev, the first phalanx of plenary expansions, Vasudeva, Shankarshana, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna expands. Lord Sri Krishna is Vasudeva, and Baladev is Shankarshana. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And since we all know so much about Lord Sri Krishna and Lord Balaram, today we are going to actually look at, we're going to actually test our own knowledge, okay? It's going to be fun. So we saw how in the first chapter of the first canto, Revati Mataji's favorite verse, Kritavan kila karmani saharamena keshavaha atimatyani bhagavan gudha kapata manushaha. So we had that verse which talks about how Lord Krishna came along with his brother Rama, and they both performed atimartyani, tasks which are not performable by human beings. Martya means one who dies. So these are tasks which normal people cannot perform. Atimartyani. Bhagavan and Gudaha Kapatamanushaha. He came and he behaved like a human being, but he was actually Bhagavan. So here first we have the 19th incarnation is Lord Balarama. So who can tell me what are the other names of Lord Balarama? Unmute yourself and
Tau Bhaiya.
Taupriya, very good.
Balabhadra.
Balabhadra, yes.
Sankrishna.
Sankarshana, yes.
And something to do with the Hala.
Haladhara,
Haladhara.
yeah, Haladhara, very nice.
Nityananda.
Huh?
Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu is also Balaram, right?
Yeah, but in a different incarnation. Na? Huh. Yes. Okay, one is Haladhara, another is Halayudha, because he uses the plow as a ayudha, weapon as well. Then what do we call Jagannath?
Baladev.
Baladev. Yes, ma?
Revati. Husband. Pati.
Yeah, Rohini Nandana.
Rohini.
Yeah. Rohini Nandana. Yeah.
Seshanag Mataji is the
Yeah, but he's not called that.
okay.
He is, I mean, a form.
Ananta
Shesha.
Shesha, yeah.
Yeah, Ananta Shesha. Yeah. Okay, which nicely is a nice segue to, since mom mentioned Revati. So what is his wife's name?
Revati.
And Varuni.
Oh.
Yeah. Varuni is the drink, no?
Yeah, it is the drink which he enjoys. But
Yeah.
it is said that his wife, so Varuni is also his wife.
Oh, okay.
Revati and Varuni. So if you go to Tota Gopinath temple, there you have a huge deity of Balaram with Revati and Varuni. Then what is his weapon? We know one of his weapons is Hala, plow. What is his other weapon?
Gada.
Gada, yes. But actually it's not a gada. It is a mushala. A mushala is actually a pestle. You know how you have mortar and pestle? Yeah. So the large pestle, which is actually shaped like that, okay, it's more a teardrop, very elongated teardrop shape. Okay, so that is his weapon. Of course, Gada also, because who did he teach Gada? Duryodhana, that's right. He taught Duryodhana how to wield the Gada. So yes, Gada and Mushala. And do you know that the Mushala actually has a name? It's there in the Krishna book. The name is Sunanda. The Mushala's name is Sunanda. Now, which were the demons that Balramji killed?
Kasur.
Sorry?
Dhenukasur.
Dhenukasur, very good.
And
Who was the
Okay, have you all watched Little Krishna? Okay. So who's that red-looking fellow who he carries and takes away?
Vatsasur. No,
Vas-
no, Vatsasur. No.
Pralab.
Pralambasura.
Yes.
Pralambasura. Very good. Very good. And who else? So these were in when he was young. Who else does he kill? Do you remember the
Ramaharsha.
Somaharshan.
Roma Harshana wasn't actually a demon, but yeah, it's really funny that Bhagavan decides that he's not going to pick up any weapon, he's not going to fight in the Mahabharata, so I'm going on a Tirtha Yatra. He goes, and what does he do? He picks up a blade of grass and he kills who? Someone who was sitting there and telling Bhagavat Katha. I mean, that is hilarious. But that's the Lord.
But whose father was Ramaharsha Mataji?
Roma Harshana Sutta Goswamis.
Sutta Goswami, yes. Sutta Gopal. Yeah, because he was.
Yeah, because he then blesses him saying, this will be continued by your son. By his son. Okay, who else did he kill? Yes, Vidushi.
There is I can't remember the name, but that gorilla up in the mountains.
Very
I can't
good.
remember the name.
Who can remember the name of the gorilla? What do you say for two in Sanskrit?
Dwi.
Ah.
Dwi.
Dvi. Dvi.
Dwiban.
No.
Dvividha.
Dvivida.
Dvividha gorilla. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Who else does he kill?
Rukmi in the later stage.
Who?
Rukmi.
In that dice game, he
Yes.
after that.
Yes, Rukmi. Very nice. Who else? Yeah, he kills Rukmi. Why? Because Rukmi was showing him his teeth. He says, you're making fun of me? Here you go. Who else? Think Mathura.
Did he kill that elephant? Or was it killed by Krishna?
That was Krishna.
And Chanur and Mushtik, that was also Krishna.
No,
Not quite.
one was
Mustika.
Yes, Mushtika.
When they fight, yeah.
Yeah, because if you want to remember that, you remember this the verse, Kamsa Chanura Mardanam, Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. How does it start? Vasudeva Sutam Deva.
Yeah, kill Chanur.
Yeah, Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam. So he killed. Who killed? Krishna killed.
Kill Chanur.
Chanura. So the other one was Mushtika, who was killed by Balaramji. Very good. Now, when he was, after he had finished killing Romaharshana, there he killed another demon who was causing a lot of problems for sacrifices. Do you know who that was? His name was Balvala. So there was this Mahademon called Ilvala, who was killed by Agastya Muni. But his son, Balvala, carried on the family tradition of, causing a lot of problems to all the sages, not allowing sacrificial fires to be lit and so on. So Balramji kills him. And this was in Naimisharanya. Okay. So along with that, What did Balramji use his plow for? He's known for dragging two important. Yes, Vidushi.
Hastinapur. He dragged because he Duryodhan didn't want to give his daughter or son and
Daughter.
to Krishna's
Son, Anirudh.
Son.
son. So he drags the city towards
Yeah. So the story is that, well done. You really do remember a lot. Well done. So the story is that Krishna's son, Samba, that is Krishna and Jambavati's son, Samba, decides that he wants to marry Lakshmana, who is Duryodhana's daughter. So he basically just goes there and he kidnaps Lakshmana. So all the Kurus, they get together and they fight Samba. Samba is all alone, and against him are the top 6 warriors. So there's Karna, there's Duryodhana, there's Bhishma, there is Dronacharya, Kripacharya, and I'm not sure who else. Okay, so there are 6 of them arrayed against him alone, and they defeat him, which was basically illegal. Wars were not supposed to be fought that way. And then they take him prisoner and they lock him up. So when Balramji comes to know about this, he takes a huge army and he goes across to Hastinapur. Uddhava goes with him. So first Balramji sends Uddhava and says, you go and see if you can smooth things over. If they give Samba, then we're all good. We just take our son, we take our daughter-in-law, and we go back. So when they go, now the Kurus, so Uddhava goes, he's treated very nicely. But when he says, and he says, Balramji is outside. Balramji doesn't come into the city. He has an encampment outside. So they all go to see Balramji. They're very nice, very polite. Then Balramji says, so just give us back our son and our daughter-in-law and we'll go. And that is when they get really insulting. They say, you guys are just cowherds. You have no standing to even come and stand in front of us. It's only because we have allowed you that you are able to use a chamara and a white umbrella and all these things for yourselves. So Balram says, I'm not even asking for myself. I'm asking for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. You know he is the Supreme Lord. So are you saying you are the ones who are allowing him to sit on a throne? You are the ones who are allowing him to have a chamara, be fanned with a chamara? You're the ones who are allowing him to have a white umbrella? They go, we are not open to discussion here. Your family is not fit for our family. So Lord Balram says, okay, if that's the case, takes his plow. He says, all of Hastinapur needs to know what has happened. And so I am going to drag it into the Ganga. So he puts his plow down and it starts to pull the entire Hastinapur. When they all see that, they all fall at his feet and beg forgiveness. And they bring Samba and Lakshmana. And Prabhupada in his commentary, he says, in the Krishna book, he says, oh, this is because they all knew he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they still wanted to see his power. Because otherwise, why would somebody like Bhishma Dev, be a party to talk like that? So he said they still want to see his power. So, yeah. Still doesn't convince me that one should. So I'm guessing they were lucky that they got away with it. I don't think the lesson we learn from that is we can go insult the Lord and we'll get away with it. I don't think that's the lesson there at all. Okay. So, yeah, so that was one instance. What was the second instance?
Yamuna River.
Yes, Prabhuji. Do you know the story behind
Balram
that?
got in Vrindavan.
Yes. So why did he drag the Yamuna
Because
River?
he was drunk. He called Yamuna River. He
Ah.
refused to come.
Hmm.
So he used his flow and then pulled that. He made some deviation. Still it exists in Vrindavan. That is called Balram Ghat.
Yes. Yes. So he ordered Yamunaji to come. Yamunaji says, nah, you're drunk. I'm not coming near you. So he says, oh, really? So these are the Leelas of Balramji. Now, when we talk about Lord Balram, what is his relationship with the Lord in terms of what is his bhava? So is it Sakhya, Dasya, Madhurya? What is it?
Dasya.
Dasya, okay.
No,
Yeah.
it's a
All
Sakya.
of them, right, Mataji?
Sakhya.
So,
Sorry, Vidushi?
All of them.
All of them. Can you
Yeah.
explain how?
In Santarasa, he's everything that the Lord wears, touches, sits on. Whole Vrindavan Dham, the place. In Dasyarasa, he, you see in many occasions in the Krishna book also you see him massaging his legs and putting keeping his head and everything. As a brother, he protects him. So that's Vatsalya Rasa. Sakya Rasa, he plays with him. He in the book you also see that he jumps and they wrestle and everything. And in Madhurya Rasa, he is Ananga Manjari, who is Radharani's sister, and he goes and does all of the seva in Radharani's and Krishna's pastimes.
Well done.
yeah, well done.
And there is a sloka called Chandral Kudayam Nadandal, something comes in Nalaira Divya Prabandham.
Oh,
That
okay.
he used to be his bed and
Yes.
that umbrella and his pataka, like that.
Yeah,
That sloka
yeah.
is there.
Yeah.
I don't know the sloka, but
Yeah.
first one I know that. Chandral Kudayam.
So all that is in the Shanta Rasa. Then as Dasya, he even serves him as Sheshanag. He serves him as Sheshanag as well. And then, of course, Sakhya, Vatsalya as Balaram, taking care of him, taking care of Krishna, making sure, Krishna is protected, making sure that when he eats dirt, he goes and complains to mom, being the good older brother, by complaining, making sure that Krishna doesn't get sick. Because the complaint is not out of any malice. It's not because he wants to get Krishna into trouble. It's because he's genuinely concerned that by eating that dirt, Krishna is going to get a bad stomachache. So that's, so in all that way. And then in Madhurya Rasa, he serves Krishna and Radharani as Ananga Manjari. Ananga Manjari. Very nice. Okay. So now, would anybody like to add anything about Lord Balram here?
His son-in-law is Ravana's son.
No.
Because Ravana's son, he kidnapped that is Adiseshan's daughter. And his name is, I forgot, I forgot his name. he is very valor, and even Alsatian could not prevent him to kidnap that. He kidnapped his daughter and then gone. And finally he said, I will come and kill you. And that's why he came along with Rama and then fought with
is that
him, came
Indrajit?
as Lakshmana. Indrajit, yeah.
Indrajit? Oh, okay. I
His
didn't know
son-in-law,
that.
Alsatian son-in-law.
Okay. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Any other? Okay. Then shall we move on to Lord Shri Krishna? Lord Krishna, this heaps. So who is Lord Shri Krishna's guru?
Sandipani.
Sandipani Muni. Yeah, Sandipani Muni.
And sorry Mataji, I heard there was another guru, Krishna's guru, when later in the life, when after the Hastinapur and after the Draupadi's Vastraharan, the Lord went into Virakti Yoga, and then he had another guru, Ghor Angiras.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I don't know the what's is it from the authentic books? There is a book in Marathi which is called as a Yugandhar.
Okay.
And which is a very famous book, and but it is written from the point of view as a Krishna, not as a god, as a supreme personality of Godhead, but as a human being, from the considering Krishna as a human being. And in that all this is written that Krishna had that Nanda Maharaj has a daughter called Ekavira, and when after Draupadi Vastraharan, Krishna went in the Virakti Yoga. How can a person like Yudhishthir can give his wife in gambling? And at that time, that Ghor Angiras, who was a ancestor of Krishna, who was also from the Vrishni dynasty, but he went for tapasya.
Okay.
And then he went there, and the Ghor Angiras was his second guru. But again, I saw that it is from a book, so I don't know whether it is authentic or not. So I'm just asking, have you heard anything about that?
No, I haven't come across that. I'll see if I can find something around that.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, and you did say about Ekavira last time, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find something around that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, so tell me the names of Krishna's weapons. So let's start with the Shankar.
Chakra.
Chakra.
Gada.
Padma. Lotus flower.
That's a Padma, yeah.
Padma.
Chariot wheel.
Chariot wheel, okay.
His bow, Mataji, as well.
His bow, very good. Sword.
Sword.
Yeah.
Arrow.
Nandaka.
Bow and arrow.
Yeah, Nandaki. Nandaka. Yeah. So, what are the names of each of these weapons? So, what's the Shank called?
Oh, it's chapter 1, right?
Panchajanya.
Panchajanya Hrishikesham.
Yeah. For the different ones.
Devadatta Dhananjaya. Very good. Panchajanya Hrishikesha Devadatta. Now, what is the name of the chakra?
Chakra
Sudarshan.
Sudarshana. Very good. Okay, Shank chakra. Gada.
Kaumodiki.
Kaumodaki. Very good. Padma doesn't have an, it's Padma. Then the sword, Mataji just said.
Nandaka Khadga.
Nandaka. Very good. Nandaka. Then his bow. Saranga.
Ah.
Shranga. Yeah. Shranga. That's why he's called Shrangapani, na? Okay. Okay. Now, when we talk about Krishna, who was the first demon he killed?
Sagadasuran.
Putana.
Putana.
Putana. So, like we said, Rama killed Tataka.
All the women.
Yeah. Okay. Now, do you know who Putana actually was in her previous life?
Bali's sister.
Bali's daughter.
Bali's-
Bali's daughter. Yeah. And what was her name? Do you know? Her name was Ratnamala. Ratnamala. And why did she have to be born as Putana?
She was when previous yuga, she was telling that if he happens to be my son, I would have given him poisonous milk and kill him. Like that, she said, because he was donating that entire thing, Bali Chakravarti. At that time, she was thinking that this man, he cheated my dad, and then he got everything from us by cheating. So if I happen to be his mother, I definitely give poisonous milk and kill him. That was his. That was her request or whatever it is. So subsequently, she was born as Bhutana, and then he got killed.
Actually, it's slightly different, Prabhuji. When she sees Vamana coming, she sees that he's so beautiful. She says, "Oh, I wish I had a son like that. I wish he was my son." But immediately after that, Vamana takes everything away and he starts growing. At that time, she says, "I want to kill him for doing this to my father." So in the next birth, she's a mother to him by giving him her milk, and she tries to kill him as well. And the result of that is she gets a permanent place as mother, as a nurse, the Vatsalya Rasa. Now, that's because what happens to demons who are killed by Krishna?
They are liberated.
They are liberated. What happens to demons who are killed by other incarnations of Krishna?
Liberated.
Also liberated, right, Mother?
Liberated.
No.
So they go to Brahma Jyoti?
No. So the ones who are liberated, the ones who are killed by, let's say, Lord Rama or Vishnu, they come back. But they get a much better life. So you have who's killed? You have Hiranyakashipu killed, comes back as Ravana. You have Ravana killed, comes back as Shishupal. Shishupal killed, goes back.
But they have Shabam, no? 3 times they have to come.
That is true. But with the thing is, so if you take any other demon as well, so when you think about Kamsa, Kalanemi, okay, Kamsa in his previous birth was Kalanemi. Kalanemi was killed by Vishnu. But he comes back. He's born again as someone who's even more powerful. But the thing is, because they have been killed by Vishnu or by one of Lord Vishnu's amshas, or they are purified enough to always think of the Lord. So what does Kamsa do? Always think of Krishna, even though it is in a mood of enmity. He's always thinking of Krishna. So being killed by the Lord purifies. but not enough for them to get complete 100% liberation and go back. Unless they are killed by Lord Krishna himself. Now, coming to Krishna's Leelas, who is the second demon?
Shakatasura.
Sakatasura. Very good. The cart demon. Third. Sorry, Prabhuji. Trinavarta. Yeah, Trinavarta. Okay, so that's the whirlwind. Trina avarta. Trina means grass. Avarta. One who takes all the grass around. So he's a tornado. Okay, he's the wind. Trinavarta.
He fell down from the air.
Yes, that's right. He fell down from the air. So after killing Trinavarta, what was the next Leela? I'm not talking about killing. Huh? What was the next Leela that happened? Damodar Leela, that's correct. Okay. So he liberates Nalakuvara and Manigriva. And because those trees fell and everything happened, everybody decided, oh, this place is too dangerous. We need to leave Gokul and we need to go to Vrindavan. Okay. So they go to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, who is the first demon he kills?
Okay.
Huh?
Ishtikasura.
No.
Bakasur Mataji.
Before Bakasura.
Before.
Vatsasur?
Correct.
Vatsasur.
Vatsasur. The calf. He comes as a calf. So in our little Krishna also, he comes as a cute little, really mad little calf. So yeah, that's Vatsasur. After Vatsasur?
Bakasur.
Bakasur. Yes. After Bakasur?
Agasur.
Yes. So who is the family out here? Who are all related to each other?
One is
That's
Putana.
correct.
Kalia?
No.
No.
Putana.
But Uma Mataji mouthed it.
Putana, Bakasur, Akasur.
That is right. Huh? Putana, Bakasura and Agasura. They're all brothers and sisters. So that's why Putana's another name is Baki. Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam. In that verse, so Aho Bakiyam Stanakala. So Baki. Okay. Then after Aghasura was killed, what Leela happened?
Govardhan.
Before that,
Kalia.
one big Leela.
Kaligana.
The
Kaligana.
Brahma
Yes, Brahma Vimohana Leela.
Leela.
Remember where Brahmaji takes all the cowherd boys and the calves and he makes them disappear, and what does Krishna do?
As he expands as all the cows and calves.
1 year.
Yes.
1 year.
And he spends one whole year with all those mothers who wanted him as their son. Excellent. Then what happened? Which demon was killed? Well, yeah.
Was it a snake?
So then comes the Kaliya Leela. Okay. But before that, you have Dhenukasur was killed by Balram. So Dhenukasur, and then all the friends of Dhenuka were killed by Krishna and Balram together. And then we have Kaliya. Okay. So Kaliya, wonderful dance, all the Nagapatnis come and they offer such beautiful prayers. Then what happens?
The fire demon, right?
Yes.
The forest fire.
The forest
Krishna
fire.
swallows forest fire, yeah.
The forest fire happens. So all the inhabitants of Vrindavan are so tired from the stress of watching Krishna not fight Kaliya that they didn't even have the energy to go back home. So they all just slept on the shore of the Yamuna. And at that time, there was a forest fire. And Krishna, what does he do? He just
Swallows the
just swallows the fire. He just swallows the fire. And after that, what happens? Who was killed after that? That's a trick question. Pralambasura was killed after that by Balramji. What happens after Pralambasura's killing? By the way, Vidushi and Uma Mataji, you're frozen. Huh? So if you're trying to, now you're okay.
Yes, Mataji, we are frozen. We're just opening the door so we get a better connection or something. I don't know how this works.
So after Pralambasura was killed by Balramji, what happens next? What is the next Leela? There is a second forest fire. Remember where all the boys get caught? Yeah? All the boys get caught in this forest fire, and Krishna tells them, okay, all of you just lie down and close your eyes, and you'll be absolutely fine. And he just swallows the fire. And after that comes now there are two Leelas. Okay. The first of which is
Govardhan.
No, before Govardhan. So Govardhan is the second Leela.
Vastraharan Leela.
Yes. Vastraharan Leela. So Krishna steals all the gopis' clothes. So they are performing the Katyayini Vrata and Krishna steals all their clothes after that. Then after that comes the Govardhan Leela. And you have Indra come and fall at the Lord's feet. You had all the citizens of Vrindavan under the same mountain for 7 days and 7 nights. And in those 7 days and 7 nights, it was absolutely blissful for every single person, including the Lord. So because of that, he was not too mad at Indra. In the case of Brahma, he did not even look at him. He just absolutely pretended he was just a normal, ordinary little boy. Didn't even want to look at Brahmaji. Why? Because for a whole year, he had separated the Lord from his associates, from his best friends. The Lord wasn't happy. But when it came to Indra, while he had done something really reprehensible, trying to kill the inhabitants of Vrindavan, but still, the Lord was like, okay, it's all right. Why? Because 7 days and 7 nights, I had everyone with me. I had every single person with me. So he was, he allowed Indra to worship him. He allowed him to bathe him, all of that. Then what happens? Sorry, Sandhya Mataji.
Is it Gajendra Lila?
No. Gajendra Leela doesn't come in Krishna Leelas at all. So you're talking about Airavat. Airavata bathing Krishna. Airavata is Indra's elephant. So it's part of the Govardhan Leela. Hmm. So then what happens after that?
Rasa dance.
Rasleela.
No. So before that, what happens is one day Nanda Maharaj goes to take a bath
Oh,
in the Yamuna.
Ekadashi Vrata.
Yeah,
Yes.
he gets
At that
captured by
Varun Dev.
Varun Dev's
Servants.
Yeah.
And taken down. And so then Krishna goes and rescues him. The whole reason being Varun Dev wanted to take darshan of Krishna. So he said, the best way to take darshan of Krishna, kidnap his father. So Krishna will come. And Krishna wasn't displeased. So, because the servants didn't really know who who Nanda Maharaj actually was. And so they took him. Okay. Then after that comes the Rasa Leela, the wonderful Rasa Leela. After that, what happens? There is another Leela where Nanda Maharaj is involved.
The Maharaj wants to go for pilgrimage, and then Krishna creates a kunda where, or was it?
So that happens before the Rasa Leela itself. So that's one. And after the Rasa Leela, there's another one.
When is swing festival happens, Mataji?
Sorry?
When is swing festival happens?
That's in the spring. So that comes after Rasa Leela, but later.
After this.
Yes, Vidushi?
If I'm sorry,
But
I'm just
Maharaj is
guessing,
not
but they
opposite.
go to the forest to do Shivji Ambikavan, and Nanda Maharaj again is in danger. I can't remember the story fully. Snake. Yeah.
So Nanda Maharaj gets eaten, like he gets swallowed by a snake. He's in the process of being swallowed by a snake. And Krishna, he kills the snake and a Vidyadhar appears. Was cursed to be a snake, and Lord Krishna liberates him. So yes, so that. And then who does Krishna kill?
There's one, I'm not sure, Mataji, when there's a asura or demon who annoys the gopis, and Krishna tells Balaram to stay with the gopis so that they're not in danger, and he goes, "Is this Shankachuda? If I'm correct?"
That's the one.
Yeah.
Well done, you. Excellent job. Shankachuda. And after Shankachuda, who's killed? Because now we are almost till at the tail end of Krishna killing demons in Vrindavan.
The bull? The bull?
What's his name? Yeah.
Aristhasura.
Aristhasura. Yes. Excellent.
Gauranga Darshan Prabhuji. 10th canto.
And after Aristhasura? Now we're left with two.
Yomasura.
No. The other one. Because now we are left with two only. Keshi. First Keshi, then Vyomasura. So Vyomasura is the one who carries away all the boys and puts them in a cave. So he was the bat-like creature. In Little Krishna, he looks like a bat flying around and takes all the boys and puts them in a cave. So that's him. And now we go to Mathura. So in Mathura, who all did Krishna kill? I mean, isn't it a long list of kill, 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 kill? So who was the first one?
The
Krishna
washerman?
killed? The washerman.
Washerman.
Yes. And after that?
I think he did the Kuba, the Kub Mataji, the one he made some Leela around that for the
Yes. So Kubja.
Kubja.
Kubja. And just before that, where does he get? So he gets his clothes from there, and then he gets his garlands.
That Ratna.
Dobi.
No, the Dobi is the one he killed the first.
Yeah.
He killed.
Elephant?
Devotee.
No.
And
devotee who makes
Beautiful garlands.
beautiful
Yes.
garlands.
So then he takes garlands from them, and then Kubja comes and gives the scents. So it's easy to remember. First clothes, then garlands, and then all the scent on top. Okay.
There's another one, the tailor Mataji. Then because he heard the tailor person when he wanted to wear some nice clothes.
Yes, he stitches them.
Yeah, he heard that the washerman got killed. He was scared. He said, "Amma, you take what you want." Then he said, "I'll make for you."
Yeah. And the Lord was very pleased with him as well.
Yes.
So then now he goes towards Kamsa's palace. What happens? Who does he kill first?
There was an arrow thingy, right, Mataji?
Mushtikan.
Kuvalaya Pida.
Kuvalaya Pida, the elephant. So he first kills the elephant. After that?
The wrestling.
Yeah. So who does he kill in the wrestling? Chanura. Kamsa Chanura Mardanam. So Chanura. And then he kills Kamsa himself. Okay. Then after that, he goes to his parents and everything. And then his parents send him off to Sandipani Muni's ashram to study. So as Guru Dakshina, what does Sandipani Muni ask?
His son.
His son. Just bring me back my son. My son is dead. Yeah. So who is the demon who has taken away Sandipani Muni's son?
Shamkhasur.
Shankhasur. Yeah, but what is his name? Panchajanya.
Panchajanya. That's why we have that.
That's why we have Panchajanya. So Krishna kills the conch demon and takes that conch for himself. So that's why we have the Panchajanya. So that's how the original Panchajanya comes to Krishna. Then after this, Krishna is back in Mathura, and you have Jarasandha and his armies attack. How many times?
18.
17 times.
17 times.
Okay, 17 times. And then what happens in the last time?
They ran away.
Ranchod.
I mean,
Yeah, but before that, something happens.
that
Who is that? Kalyavan. That's right. So there is this fellow called Kalyavan. What does it mean? That he is a black Kala. Yavana means he's from foreign lands, basically. So he comes and he wants to kill Krishna. So Krishna takes on a four-armed form and he starts to walk away. And Kalyavan is running after him saying, "Hey, stop, you coward. Stop. You're so scared of me, you're running away from me. Stop." And Krishna doesn't even look back. He goes into a cave. And he disappears. Kalyavan comes in and he sees a figure sleeping there. He goes to the figure, kicks it. And that person wakes up, opens his eyes, and Kalyavan is burned to ashes. Who is this personality?
I don't remember the name, but it starts with M.
Yes. Muchukunda, that's right. Muchukunda man. So, who knows the story of why Muchukunda Maharaj was actually sleeping there?
He fought for Devas.
Yes.
Continuously, he wanted rest, and then he said, "I want to take rest." And I think Brahma or somebody gave boon to him to take sleep. And once, if anybody awakes you, and if you happen to see them, they will become ash like that. So he went inside the hill, and then he found a cave, and then he took rest. He was sleeping,
Yeah.
and this happened.
Yeah. So, okay. Then after so technically Krishna killed Kalyavana. Yeah. Without killing him through Muchukunda. He used.
Ranachodrai, this here
Then
only,
after
no?
that, yeah, after that is Ranchorai. Okay, because Krishna and Balaram, they leave the battlefield and they run away. So they come back and then they fight and then they go and when they see that Jarasandha has now come. So Kalyavana has been defeated, but now Jarasandha comes back. So at that time, they decide, no, enough is enough. Now we go from here. So they climb up the mountain, Raivata Parvat, jump to the other side. Now, after that, they are in Dwarka. So because they decide that this is getting to be too much with Jarasandha attacking. If we are not there in Mathura, Jarasandha will attack all the Mathuravasis and they will be in a lot of trouble. So they get Vishwakarma to build Dwarka and all of Mathura is transported to Dwarka. Excellent. So who is the first? Also, there is another reason why Krishna leaves that the battlefield and goes away. Why is that?
Actually, Mataji, if Jarasandha is left, he'll bring all the enemies again, so Krishna can easily kill him. And he'll be killed by Bhima eventually. So there's no use of killing Jarasandha. He must be kept alive so that he'll bring all the enemies, all the bad people, so that Krishna can easily finish him. Yeah.
But that was related to the battle. But there is another reason Krishna left the battlefield. Because he could hear Rukmini calling out. So he decides, because Rukmini ji is sitting there praying, that she wants Krishna as a husband, while her brother is intent on getting her married to whom?
Shishupal.
Shishupal, exactly. Of all the people. So Rukmini has decided that she will get married only to Krishna. So she's writing this letter. And then she writes a letter, she sends it. And to cut a long story short, Krishna comes and he takes Rukmini. Okay. So, who is his second wife?
Jambavati.
Mm.
Satyabhama, Jambavati, or Jambavati,
Satyabhama. Satyabhama. Okay. Because you have that whole episode of the Shamantaka jewel. Shamantaka Mani. So around that, because Shatrajit, Satyabhama's father, accuses Krishna of stealing the jewel and everything. Yeah. So then we have the episode of Jambavati. So then Krishna brings back the jewel and gets married to Satyabhama. Because Krishna gets married to Satyabhama, there's a whole horror story that unfolds. what actually happens? Do you? Yes, Vidushi?
It's to do with the Samantakamani. So because Satyajit promises Satyabhama to many other people as well, and then they become very jealous and envious that Satyabhama married Krishna. They then kill Satyajit and take the Samantakamani, and then they panic.
One person there who kills. What's his name? Do you remember? Shatadhanva.
Satadhanva.
And he gives the Samantakamani then to Akrura. Akrura then flees the place, and this time Satyabhama goes, because Krishna and Balram are in Hastinapur, so she goes there, and then they come back chasing, and then chase Akrura.
So the thing is, Akrura and Kritavarma, they did join the conspiracy. Why did Akrura actually? What is the reason given that Akrura would do something like this?
That Samantakamani will give a lot of gold.
Yeah, but Akrura was actually not interested in the gold.
The gopis curse that.
Yes.
Akrura.
So the acharyas actually say that because Akrura came to Vrindavan and took Krishna away, at that time the gopis cursed him because their hearts were broken. So Akrura was a cause of a lot of pain to the gopis. And because of that, they cursed him. So in essence, Akrura committed a kind of Vaishnava aparadh against the gopis. And for that, he was forced to commit a crime like this. So after which, of course, then Krishna came back and, he kills Shatadhanva. Okay. Then after that, okay, who are the other wives of Krishna? So we have Rukmini, Satyabhama, Jambavati,
Kalindi,
Lakshmana,
Satya, Lakshmana, Bhadra.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. So how did each of them get married? Do you remember the stories? So Kalindi is who actually?
The river.
Yeah, Yamunaji. Okay. So she's doing tapasya and Krishna and Arjuna come there and she's doing tapasya to attain Krishna as a husband. So Krishna says, okay, come. Then the next is Mitravinda. Mitravinda was the sister of Vindhya and Anuvindhya. Now, these two brothers were under the control of Duryodhana. So Duryodhana wanted to marry her. So they had a Swayamvara for her, but she did not want to marry Duryodhana. She wanted Krishna. So Krishna went there, took her away from the Swayamvara. All the other kings and princes followed after him, got defeated in battle, and Krishna went with Mitravinda. Now that is kind of, Rukmini ditto, Mitravinda ditto. Yeah. Then after that you have, who was the next one? Satya. What is Satya's another name? That's right. Nagnajiti. Nagnajiti. So in that case, how was what was the test for Krishna? How many bulls? 7 bulls. So Krishna had to defeat 7 bulls at the same time. And for that, what did he do? He just expanded himself into 7 forms and he defeated them all at the same time. Easy peasy. And then after that, he married Bhadra. Bhadra, one of Krishna's aunts, whose name was Shrutakirti. And then after that, he marries Lakshmana. Lakshmana had a Swayamvara exactly like Draupadi's. And so where the fish had to be pierced, except Lakshmana's Swayamvara was a little more complicated. The piercing of the fish was a little more complicated. In the case of Draupadi, the fish was left open. But in the case of Lakshmana, the fish had a covering and there was a tiny hole. So apparently, there were so many princes and kings who came and tried, including Arjuna, who could not pierce the fish. So he pierced the fish, but not the target on the fish. But it was Lord Shri Krishna who could pierce the target on the fish. So that's how he gets married to Lakshmana.
Mataji, just like about the Bhadra one.
Sorry?
Is this Lakshmana different from Duryodhana's daughter?
Yeah, this one is a different Lakshmana. Yeah. Sorry, what was the other one?
Mataji, just now you said something, I think my connection or your connection, you said something about Bhadra and he married the auntie or something like that. What did you say just now? Sorry?
Bhadra is Krishna's aunt's daughter.
Oh, his father's side. Maternal? Maternal.
I'm trying to remember.
Never mind, it's okay.
Kunti, paternal.
Paternal, yeah.
Yeah.
Vasudeva's sister.
Yeah.
Mataji, is the target is for fish eye, right?
Now that it does not say actually.
Oh, okay. Maybe I read some.
No, I know. We've read a lot of places about Draupadi's one. And Draupadi's one, again, the Mahabharata has a whole different story about it, the actual Mahabharata. It's a little different from what we've read. We'll come to that at another time. Okay. So after all this, Krishna kills an Asura who is technically his own son. Who is that?
Pradyum?
No, Pradyum
No.
is not a...
Sorry.
Narakasura.
Narakasura, Bhaumasura. Yeah.
Bhudevi's son.
Yes. So Bhaumasura or Narakasura is supposed to be the son of Bhumi Devi, Bhaumasura. That's why he's called Bhaumasura. He's the son of Bhumi Devi and Varahadev. So when Bhumi Devi was lifted by Varahadev, that's when she was impregnated and Narakasura was born. Now he was originally called Bhaumasura. Actually, he wouldn't even be an Asura. That name came later. Why? Because of bad association. So it is actually said that he, being the son of the Lord, how could he be an Asura? Because of bad association. His associates were all other demons like Mayasura and all the rest, you know. And who was the guy with the 3 heads? Yeah, I forget the name now. Yeah. So after that, what was the next big fight that Krishna had? Do you remember? Here he didn't kill.
Mayasura was killed by Satyabhama.
Yes. That is right. So then after the Bhaumasura episode,
What did Prabhuji say? Sorry, I can't hear.
Bhaumasura was killed by Satyabhama. Okay. And after that, there was this whole episode of the fight with Banasura. Now, who was Banasura? Do you remember?
Bali Maharaj,
Usha's
grandson or son or grandson.
Yes, Bali Maharaj's grandson. That's correct. Okay. And what was the fight about?
Usha and Aniruddha.
That is right. Usha and Aniruddha. So Usha falls in love with Aniruddha and she kidnaps him and brings him over. And when that happens, Banasura sees and he's very upset. And so he makes Aniruddha a prisoner. And so you have Pradyumna, Krishna, everyone come and fight. And Banasura has how many hands?
12.
He has 1,000 hands.
1,000.
Okay, so, and he's very proud of his 1,000 hands. So with his 1,000 hands, he would play all kinds of musical instruments and please Lord Shiva. So in his fight, he actually calls Lord Shiva to fight on his behalf. And Lord Shiva fights on his behalf. Lord Shiva says, you're asking for a foolish thing and I'm a foolish man. I'll come and fight. No problem. So he comes and he fights, but he gets defeated. And all of Banasura's hands except for 2 are cut off by the Lord. So he's left with now only 2 hands. The whole idea being, don't be so proud of all your hands. After that, there is a story of Krishna saving a lizard. Do you remember that? From a well. So what is the name of the king who was actually the lizard? King Nriga.
Oh, yeah.
King Nriga. Now, Nriga's story is a very interesting story. So he had actually given, he was a very pious man. He gave away cows. So he had given cows to a lot of brahmanas, but one cow wanders back and joins all the other cows in a shed, and he takes that cow and gives it to another brahmana. So essentially what he's done is he's donated the same cow twice to 2 different people. Both of them come back and say, this is my cow, this is my cow. They have a fight. And he says, okay, instead of 1 cow, I'll give you 1,000 cows, 1,000,000 cows, whatever you take. They say, no, we want only this cow. And then both of them end up cursing him to become a lizard. So what is the moral of this story? When you give away anything, under no circumstances, take it back or think about it. It is gone. It's not yours anymore. So that's one moral we can learn from that story. Okay, so after that, there was this very funny fellow who got killed. A real clown.
He called him Vasudev.
Yes, he called himself Vasudev.
Carpenter. Is it a carpenter fella?
No, not a carpenter. What's his name?
Poundraka.
Poundraka, that's right. Yeah, what did he do? He dressed himself up as the Lord. Yeah. He had 2 arms, he attached 2 more arms.
Yeah.
And he would walk around saying, I am Vasudev. Everybody should bow down to me. And when the Lord came to know about this, when he saw him, it seems he and his entire court and everybody literally fell off their chairs, rolling on the floor, laughing. They found it so hilarious. And then the Lord took his Sudarshan Chakra and killed him. Okay, so moral of the story, you can only imitate the Lord if the Lord is in front of you. Why? Because Pandaka, when he got killed, he got Sarupya Mukti. Sarupya Mukti means he got to stay with the Lord and he got the same form as the Lord, which is what he wanted. So yeah, if you want to do something like that, do it when the Lord is there and he can kill you. Otherwise, don't do it. That's the moral of that story. Otherwise, we dress up like the Lord or anything, and the Lord has a good laugh at all of that. So even that is good. We're pleasing the Lord by making him laugh. And after that, Paundraka's friend, the king of Kashi, decided that he was going to attack Krishna. Why? Because you killed my friend. So Krishna killed him also. And then you have all these different people, Jarasandha, Shishupal, Shalva, flying around. Yeah? And Dantavakra, Vidhurata. There were all these different people who got liberated, basically.
Mataji, what is the story of Dantavakra? I haven't come across that story.
So Dantavakra, so you have
Shishupala Dantavakra.
Yeah. So how was Dantavakra killed? That is, it's just gone out of my head. Oh dear. Just give me a minute, Mataji. I'll look it up. Because it's completely gone out of my head. Yeah, so he just says that, so when after, Shalva was killed, that's right. Oh, yes. So one day, Dantavakra out of the blue, he's a friend of Shalva, Shishupal, and everybody. So out of the blue, he just lands up and he says he challenges Krishna to a battle. And Krishna kills him. It's not a very elaborate, reason. There is a fight, but nothing very elaborate. And Vidhurata is Dantavakra's brother. So he was also killed along with him.
Probably Sishubalan was the last one.
No, so Shishupala, Shalva, Dantavakra, and Vidhurata. Vidhuratha. So these were the ones. And then, of course, we have the Battle of Kurukshetra, where the Lord did not actually fight anyone except, like Dad said, lift the chariot wheel and run after Bhishmadev. Run at Bhishmadev. Rathangapani. Yeah. So that, in a very, very, very concise form, was the Krishna book. In an extremely concise form, with most of it presented by Vidushi. Excellent job.
Oh God, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu's. I have nothing to do with it.
You're a good listener. Great job. So any questions, any comments?
Yes, Mataji, can you please share your summary?
Oh, my summary? Okay, I will. Except it's... okay, you probably won't understand at all, Mataji, because it's like, just...
Bullet points is fine. We
okay.
And
Gives
it's
us a bit of
idea which one goes, which the chronology is really important. That's all I'm looking for. Yeah.
Okay. I'll send that out.
Thank you.
I'll make it a little more readable and send it out. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll pause here for tonight.
Yes.
Meet tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Bye. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for giving us the Krishna book, Mataji. We just passed Ras Leela, so yeah. So we're just getting nearly through the Krishna book. But thank you so much for giving that to us.
No. Not at all. Not at all.
But yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji and Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
எப்படி இருக்க? என்னாச்சு இன்னைக்கு ரொம்ப வலியா? உன் மூஞ்சி எல்லாம் ஏதோ மாதிரி இருக்கு.
ஆமா இன்னைக்கு கொஞ்சம் அது ஆஸ்துமா வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. தொண்டை எல்லாம் இதாகி ஆஸ்துமா கொஞ்சம் இருக்கு. அதனால இதா இருக்கு. இருமல் கொஞ்சம் உண்டு. நேற்றுக்கு நல்ல மழை. கண்டினியூஸா நேற்றுக்கு ஃபுல்லா மழை. ஏற்கனவே ரொம்ப கேர்ஃபுல்லா தான் நான் இருந்துட்டு இருக்கேன். இருந்தாலும் அது வந்து கொஞ்சம் ரொம்ப நாள் ஆச்சு இல்லையா ஆஸ்துமா வந்து.
சரி.
சீசன் வேற சேஞ்ச் ஆகுது.
சரி. ஓகே.
We were able to listen to our Krishna Katha very, very well because of the mobile, not on laptop.
ஓகே.
லேப்டாப்ல போட்டிருந்தாக்கா அது நின்னுட்டு போயிட்டு இருக்கும்.
முதல்ல ஆரம்பத்திலேயே கொஞ்சம் ப்ராப்ளம் இருந்தது. அதனால உடனே சொன்னேன் மொபைல